Alright, welcome to the first part of model rocket assembly. This is the body tube. Here's the things you're going to need. So the first thing you're going to do is grab your red sticky paper. Take one end and you're going to fold part of it over. You want a nice 90-degree angle. So line the edges up. Make a nice crease. Make sure that your edges are nice and straight. Edges are lined up. Open it up and then cut with your scissors along that line to make sure that you have a good 90-degree angle, so you have a nice straight cut. That's going to be important. The next thing we're going to do is we need to make a piece that's 11 inches long. So we're going to use our paper to measure with. And we will line up the side that we just cut with the top of the paper. And then at the bottom of the paper, we will make a mark on either side of the red side of the sticky paper. So now we're going to have two cuts on that one piece. So we have one piece of sticky paper that's going to be 11 inches long. We know that because we have an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Make sure you use recycled paper. So go ahead and cut that off, nice and straight. And you want to double check it on your paper just to make sure that it's 11 inches long, just like that. Looks great. Alright, so we can go ahead and set that aside. We don't need that anymore. Now we're going to take what's left of our sticky paper. We're going to take the same end that we just cut, because we know that's nice and straight, and we're going to fold it over the top side that we just cut down to the edge. So we're going to make a 45-degree angle again, top side to the edge, just like that. We're going to make a good crease on it. We want a nice triangle, a nice straight triangle. Open it up. Make sure that we have a nice crease. I'm going to go ahead and bend it back the other way, also to make sure that I get a good crease. And we're going to cut that off on the line, and that will be a 45-degree angle. So go ahead and cut that off. And then you can take the triangle that you just cut off and you can get rid of it. Don't need it. Now if it's longer than about 36 inches, you don't need the rest of it. So but if it's too long, hang on to it, or if it's too long, cut it off. If not, just roll it up and put it away. So you don't need to do anything more with that. Now we're going to take our 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and our plastic tube, and we're going to roll this plastic tube, or we're going to roll the paper onto our plastic tube. We're going to do a hot dog, not hamburger. Hot dog, you want it nice and long. So go ahead and start it on there, and we want to make sure that the edge stays nice and straight. We don't want it creeping on the paper. We want it to stay, the top side, the edges to stay straight. We want to roll it up nice and tight as you can get it. Keeping the edges straight, as tight as you can get it. Nice and tight. When you got, about an inch left over, take your glue stick, and you're going to make a line with your glue stick on the edge of the paper that's sticking up, making sure that you keep it rolled up nice and tight. Put some glue down that edge. Nice bit of glue, and then finish rolling it up. Make sure that it's tight. Roll it and roll it and roll it and roll it and roll it. If you kept it tight, you won't have any wrinkles. You don't want any wrinkles, and you don't want it to come off of there very easy. If it just slides right off of there, get another piece of paper and do it again. You should be able to flick it and it doesn't come off the tube. If it comes off the tube, try it again. No wrinkles. You don't want any wrinkles. Wrinkles are bad. This one looks pretty good. So we can take it, and what we want to do is we're going to push the piece of paper down to where it lines up On one side you got about 3/4 of an inch hanging off, and on the other side the plastic tube and the paper is in line or flush. So 3/4 on one side, flush on the other. Now you're going to grab your sponge and your water. You want your sponge to be wet but not like sopping wet, so wring it out till you get most of the water out of there, because you don't want it super wet. And then you're going to go ahead and grab your 11-inch piece of paper, the red paper, the first one that you cut, and you're going to get it wet. You want to get the shiny side, the shiny brown side wet. It's going to go on there like that, over that white piece of paper, but you don't want to get any of the red sticky paper onto the plastic tube. Only get it onto the white paper. It's going to look like that when we're done. Let's go ahead and fit it on there dry first. Then get it wet. Just get it wet. And as soon as you do, it's going to start getting sticky and rolling up. Now you want to set it on there, like I said, so that it only gets on the white paper. You don't want it stuck to the plastic tube. Go ahead and smooth it out. You don't want any wrinkles. Wrinkles are bad. Nice and smooth. No, it does not go all the way around. You can still see some of the white paper, and that's okay. This one looks a little dry yet, so I'm just going to put a little more water on that red paper where it's peeling back with the sponge, and continue to roll it on up nice and smooth. I don't want any wrinkles. Wrinkles are bad. Notice that I still have my tube is hanging off 3/4 on one side and it's flush on the other. Just like that. That looks pretty good. No wrinkles. No wrinkles. Now here comes the hard part. Okay, you're going to get your sponge a little wetter this time, but not totally soaking wet. Not soaking wet. And we're going to take our really long piece of paper and we're going to put it over this piece of paper if we have no wrinkles. So double check it. Still flush. 3/4 on the one side. Nice and tight. Okay, now we're going to grab our really long piece of paper. This is the hard part. This is probably the most difficult part you're going to do. So you're going to get that long piece of paper wet. A little wetter with the sponge this time, but you don't want it like dripping wet. To get the whole piece of paper wet. Get it nice and wet. Wet, 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 wet. And as soon as you do this, it's going to start to curl up, so you got to work pretty quick. Get it all the way wet. Now comes the hard part. The part that you cut is going to line up with the part of the tube, the top part of the tube. And as it lines up, as you roll that on, it's going to travel down the tube if you did it right. So it will just travel right on down that tube if you did it correctly. As you roll it up, it's going to go on down. Then if you got a bunch of extra, go ahead and cut that off, get it out of the way. And roll it very gently on the table, very gently, to see if you have any wrinkles. But at this point I would go back, if you didn't catch that, rewind the video to the point where I put the paper on and try that again, and you guys will see, or watch that again, and you guys will see how I put that paper on there. You got to make sure that there's no red paper on the plastic tube. I'm going to go ahead and cut the red paper now until it's flush with the plastic tube and the edge of the white paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off, and if I'm happy with it, there's no wrinkles, just like this. Again, go back and watch the video again, rewind it, and look at the part where I put the red paper on there if you're not sure how to do that. But that's nice and clean and looks good.